Chapter 50, Kaylee. I can't believe Sarah brought Oliver and Tristan with her to band practice. That would have been embarrassing and uncomfortable on a normal day, but after dancing all night with Oliver and talking to him for so long in the car after the dance, I'm feeling all kinds of awkward. It gets better because, of course, today of all days, James has one of his groupies here, and she seems to be having a hard time getting entirely separated from James as she tries to fix her top and skirt. I'm not sure why she bothers. There's barely enough material there to cover the main bits, no matter how much she tugs on it. She does seem embarrassed, which is more than I can say for a lot of the girls James usually brings to practice since we broke up. Oh, Oliver and Tristan, hi. I wasn't expecting to see you here. Nicole finally manages to fully disentangle from James as she walks over to us. I'm between her and the guys, but she doesn't even bother to acknowledge me. I guess she was only embarrassed because the Knights caught her making out with James. So much for hoping she had some decency. Yeah, we're here with Kaylee. Once I found out she was the lead singer in a band, I had to come see her rock out. Oliver smiles at me. He makes eye contact with Nicole briefly before his gaze comes back to me. I'm not sure if he's trying to sell it to James that last night was a date, or what's going through his head. Either way, I have to give him credit for not even glancing down at the girl and all the skin she has on display. Tristan, on the other hand, seems to be devouring her with his eyes. I'm surprised to see you here, Nicole. I thought you were dating Mackie. Tristan continues to check her out. I go out with Mackie from time to time, but not exclusively. Nicole eyes Tristan up and down like we didn't just walk in on her making out with James. I guess more power to her owning who she wants to be, but could she be that person somewhere else? What are they doing here? James looks Oliver and Tristan over. We don't do open rehearsals. Before I can say or do anything, Connor walks over to James and grabs his arm, dragging him over to the back corner of the rehearsal space. I can't hear exactly what they're saying, but it's clear by his tone that Connor isn't happy with James' antics. I'm not sure why Connor seems to have a problem now. He's never said anything before when James brings his never-ending line of groupies to practice. Either way, I have bigger problems than puzzling out Connor's motives. I turn back around to face Oliver and notice Nicole sitting on the couch with Tristan. More like Tristan sitting on the couch, and Nicole's about halfway on his lap. If you'd rather us not be here, we can leave. Sarah invited us, and it sounded fun. We could probably get Nicole to leave too, so she wouldn't bother you. Oliver looks all kinds of uncomfortable. I guess he doesn't do drama. Or maybe he has an issue with PDA. Who knows? No, it's fine. If you want to stay, you can. I get it if you want to leave after that display and everything with James yesterday. I'm pretty sure he's gearing up to be worse today. I'm not sure how to act around Oliver right now. My body remembers all too well what it felt like to be held by him as we danced, and it's messing with my head. I like to stay and listen to you sing, if that's all right. Oliver smiles hesitantly. Yeah, that sounds okay. I chew on my bottom lip. I know you don't need my help with James, but maybe me being here could be a buffer for you from his bad behavior? Oliver suggests. His body sways closer to mine. I don't want to talk about James. I may not be sure of what's going on with Oliver, but I know I don't want to waste any time or headspace on James. Okay, do you, have plans after band practice? Oliver asks. If I'm not mistaken, it looks like he's blushing. Does that mean he's asking me out? Do I want him to ask me out? I don't know. I mean, I don't need him to protect me from James, but that doesn't mean I can't spend time with him. Plus, it might help me get information to help Drew win over Lynn. Yeah, because that's the only reason I want to spend more time with him. It's cool if you do. I was just curious. Oliver shifts his weight from foot to foot. Crap. I forgot to respond. No. I mean, no plans. Sorry, I kind of zoned out there for a minute. It's fine. Would you want to go get something to eat afterwards, then? Sure. I'm entirely unsure of what to do. I'm not confident this is a date, or that I'd want it to be. Thankfully, Sarah and Carter walk in before an awkward silence can descend between Oliver and me. Sarah takes a quick glance around the room before loudly saying, So, are we having band practice, or what? Connor shoots James a look before walking over to where his bass is. Y'all are welcome to sit on the couches or whatever while we practice. Connor starts the bass line of one of our original songs before anyone can respond. Sarah gets set up behind the drums, and I walk over to my mic. The second time Connor repeats the bass line, we join in with him. During the first couple of songs, I feel hyper aware of Oliver being here and watching me sing, especially since James seems intent on standing closer to me than usual and way closer than necessary. Slowly, I get more focused on our music and practice and block out everything else, getting lost in the music. So much so, I don't realize until Connor calls an end to our rehearsal that at some point, Nicole and Tristan left. Carter is sitting on the couch playing on his phone, but Oliver's looking at me. The way he's looking at me, I get the feeling he hasn't taken his eyes off of me this whole time, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. What does he think of our band and music? Lynn apparently liking heavy metal doesn't mean he does. Not to mention, James has been all up in my space for the last couple of hours. Wait, why am I worrying about this? I'm befriending him to help Drew. It doesn't matter what he thinks about the band or James's behavior. I'm not interested in a relationship with him, so it doesn't matter if he's interested in one with me. I shake off my weird thoughts and walk over to the couch, ignoring James entirely. Instead of facing Oliver directly, I go to Carter and snatch his phone out of his hands. Hey, dipstick, practice is over. What? I can't hear you. I think I'm deaf. Carter cups his hands around his ears. No one made you be here. If you don't want to hear us rehearse, don't come. But then, how could I tease you about them? Carter gets up and heads outside after a nod in Connor's direction. Thankfully, Connor seems to have distracted James with something, and he isn't dogging my steps and being a bigger pain in the rear than he already has been. Here's an idea. You could not. I follow Carter out the door. I see Sarah and Oliver behind us, but don't want to deal with anything right now, not with James' presence. Where's the fun in that? Carter grabs his phone back from me, and we both start laughing. My laughter abruptly stops, and I realize Mary's car is in the driveway. She's home and would have seen Oliver's SUV. Great. I can't leave Sarah home alone with Mary, especially if she's been on a bender. I don't want her in the house at all. Hey, Oliver, would it be okay if Sarah came to eat with us? Oliver starts and blushes before Sarah cuts him off. I'm so not crashing your date. I'll be fine at home. I'm not a baby. Sarah puts her hands on her hips. No one said it's a date, and I know you aren't a baby, but you know this isn't about you. I shoot her a look. I don't need her arguing with me about this and letting Oliver in on more of my sucky life. She glares back at me, clearly deciding this is a hill she's willing to die on. It's cool if Sarah comes, Oliver says, interrupting our standoff. Carter, you're welcome to come too. We can all go to Luigi's. Luigi's Pizza Palace is the pizza place in town that has a built-in arcade. Sweet, I'm in, Carter says before Sarah or I can argue. We ride in one vehicle after Carter's insistence that it's better for the environment. I'm not sure when he became such an eco-warrior, but I'm assuming it was in the last 5 minutes. When we get to Luigi's, Oliver drops us off at the front before going to park his car. You want to tell me why you're afraid of going on a date with Oliver? Carter asks as soon as the guy in question has pulled away from the curb. I'm not afraid of going on a date with Oliver. I don't want Sarah alone with Mary, especially after she's been gone for so long. I'm not afraid of a date with Oliver. If that was even what he wanted. He didn't say it was, and seemed to have no problem with Sarah and Carter tagging along. Maybe Carter's blowing things out of proportion just to rile me up. Oh, so you have no problem with Drew picking Sarah and me up to go play video games at his house until curfew? Carter challenges. Of course I wouldn't have a problem with it, but Oliver's expecting you to be here. It'd be rude to bail. I'm not as confident as I'd like to be at the prospect of spending one-on-one time with Oliver. I'm pretty sure Oliver would see us bailing as a miracle, not as a breach in etiquette, Carter says. Okay, but Drew is hanging out with Lynn. You can't drag him away from that to play video games with you and Sarah. I try to come up with a reason they need to stay that doesn't count as me chickening out. And I wouldn't, but he texted me when they finished studying and he was heading home, which was a while ago. I'm only pulling him away from being at home alone. Carter takes away my last defense. I open my mouth to say something, but before I can, Carter cuts me off. Drew's already here to pick us up. Unless I should tell him to come in because you're still hung up on James hurting you? I know he's baiting me, but I can't do anything about it. I'm fine. Go play video games. I'll text you when it's safe to bring Sarah back to the house. Sarah rolls her eyes at my last statement, Carter walked to the parking lot with Sarah, leaving me alone to explain to Oliver where they went. Yippee!